In this video, I want to go over a modern looking music player for Linux systems called Lollypop. And if you found this video on YouTube, I will provide a link below the video that will show you how to install the program and how to set it up and how to use it. Now to start with, let's take a look at what Lollypop is. Lollypop is a lightweight, modern looking music player designed to work excellently with a GNOME desktop environment. However, it will work with other type of environments as well. Some of the most popular features of Lollypop is it can play multiple formats such as MP3, MP4, OGG, FLAC files, and other type of popular formats. It can also go out and search and find information to put in the metadata of your individual musics so that you can organize your albums. Now it won't let you edit it through the program, but you can use it will have a thing where you can embed or integrate with editors that will edit your metadata for songs, and I'll show you that in just a few moments. You can synchronize it with your Android device if you have that set up. I don't use it to sync with my Android device, but you can. And it will scrabble your songs from certain websites so that it will keep up with which songs that you play so that it can put it in a popular playlist. Now to install Lollypop on your system, open the terminal, just simply copy and paste each of these commands line by line, and after you put this line where you're adding the PPA, it will ask to insert your password, put in your password and press the enter key and answer the questions, and then update your repository, and then go sudo apt-get install Lollypop, and I need to bold the word Lollypop. Just copy that, put it in there, and that will install the program. You can install it other ways. If you don't like adding PPAs to your system, if you like keeping them as small as possible, because sometimes PPAs do die, and when you go to hit update it will create an error. So if you're the type of person that don't like a lot of PPAs, then you can download the installation file from the pkgs.org, and you can get it for different distributions. You can get the deb, the rpm, or the zip dup file list, so you can get it for other type of Linux distributions. You can then get it from your Flatpak. I don't think there was a snap version. If there was, I didn't see it. And you can actually get it from the GNOME website, since this is a GNOME application. Now it's a very modern looking application. I'll tell you a little bit why I like this as one of my favorite ways of organizing my albums. But let's say that you don't want it. You can simply copy this string of commands, put it into your terminal to remove Lollypop, and don't forget that if you've installed the PPA, you need to remove the PPA as well. Just simply copy, paste that into your terminal, and it will remove the PPA from your list. Now I'm using Ubuntu Mate 18.04, the 0.4, the long-term support. I'm using the traditional menu, so I access it through the application sound and video, and there you see Lollypop. Now I have seen where a lot of people don't like the piece of candy, the peppermint candy that represent Lollypop. You can always change the icons that's used to represent a program on your system. So if that's as petty as it is, you don't like a program because of its icon, you can always change the icon. You can download a different icon to represent Lollypop. I think it's a great program. Here's what it's going to look like the first time you access it. It's going to be like a blank slate. It's not going to have any of your music albums because it don't know where they are until you tell it where they are. I show you how to go through and use the preferences and everything. Before I actually show you the program, let me show you one thing that you'll have to do within your preferences if you don't have it already installed. When you go to your preferences and go to behavior, you've got a list of buttons if the commands are available from your system. At the time I installed it, I was missing one command on my system. I was needing to install the KID3-CLI. That allows the program to save changes to things that I save within the music, organizing my music. So you just simply open up your terminal. So go sudo apt-get install KID3-CLI. It's a command line, but it does it. It won't open up a terminal where you use the command line. So don't be afraid that, oh my God, I don't want to use the terminal. It just replaces that with a button off and on so that it saves information within the song files, within the list. So all that happens is this is replaced now by where it says changes to file an off and on switch. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's off by default, and I switched it on. Now I do have a kind of a little slideshow that you can go through here and look at the different things and features and the side tabs of what they look like through the program. And I'm going to fix and show you in just a moment. I do show you on the website how you can create a new playlist and how to use a playlist and how to work with other type of programs. And if you don't like this music player, for the next several weeks I will be adding to this list right here, so you can come back to the music player and look for an additional music player that I have on this list. And you might not like, if you don't like the album art, you might like Clementine, that uses, it does have an album art. It's much smaller, but it organizes your albums by names. But I know this is not a Clementine program. It is a Lollypop review, so I will go back and show you Lollypop. Let's click on Applications, go to Sound and Video, and click on Lollypop. Now, I already have my album art here because I've got a lot of albums. When you look here, there's a lot of albums here, and I could let it populate and stop the video and edit it with Kdenlive, but I figure I'll show you how to add music list, and all you do is just wait for it to populate your album art. So let me go through the list on the side. To start with, it will generate a popular albums. So if you listen to songs, and I've not had this program but for a couple weeks, so I've not listened to it a whole lot, but as you begin to listen to popular songs through different albums, it will come up with other popular albums from what you like to listen to. Now, these are the ones that I mostly listen to using this program. Now, when I was creating on my website a Christmas album, I did listen to some of his and clicked on them and made sure that it worked as I said it did. So that's one reason why the Christmas album is showing up here, and it's March. It's not that I'm intentionally listening to Christmas music in March. You can click on Random Albums. Random Albums, it just takes your list of albums and just randomizes it. So if I wanted to click here and start playing it, I could listen to my music at random. I could look at recently added albums, and it's just because I recently installed this, right now all my albums are recently added. After a certain period of time goes away, it will then put your recent albums as you install them at the front. Playlists, it will automatically have two set of playlists, your popular tracks by default and your random tracks. Now, here are popular albums, the songs from albums that you've played the most. This is popular tracks. So as you play tracks or make changes to tracks, it will create a popular track, so that way it might not be the whole album. Now, the reason why the popular tracks are showing icons for Rob Zombie is not that I'm a huge fan of Rob Zombie. I don't have anything bad about it, but my nephew also, when he lived with me, he installed a lot of his, or ripped a lot of his music CDs off on my computer. So that's, the Rob Zombies was his, and they wasn't, when I ripped, or when I put them, this program on here, they wasn't properly organized, so I used my easy tag metadata editor. And when I did that, because I changed these around, it thought they were popular tracks that I was listening to them, so it generated those as my popular tracks. These are just random tracks that it generates, so when you click on it, you can just click and it will go through your random list. In a few moments after I finish showing you the rest of the tabs, I'll come back here and show you how to create a new playlist. You can organize your albums and your music by different years. I probably have most of them in these categories here. From 2000 to 2009 is in this area. From 2010 to 2018, I don't have anything newer than 2018. Most of my new music I listen to is streamed from the internet. This was back in the days when buying CDs was pretty popular. Instead of wasting these CDs, I've ripped them off and I'm able to use them without putting a CD into the CD player. So it organizes them by years. By web, I don't have anything enabled. I have a Spotify app, and if you've ever watched my videos, you can see that I have a Spotify app that I show how to set it up. Eventually, I will show you how you can listen to music through YouTube, through an app that lets you listen to YouTube music, but I don't enable anything through this. This just plays music on my computer. Here is all the albums that I currently have ripped off and placed on this old PC here. There's quite a few albums. Like I said, some of these are my nephew's that he ripped off, but some of the country and older rock are mine. And then here's all the artists. It takes the artists and kind of puts them in a bubble and creates the artist from their album art. Let's go back to all the albums. If you go to all the albums, if you wanted to play an album, let's say for example AC/DC. If you want to play it, you click on to the album art. And then let me go back there for a moment. One reason why this is the most popular way of organizing albums on my system is it uses album art to select your albums and your songs. And that reminds me of the Plex media player and the MB media player, which I use both. If I want to play a movie that I've ripped off or a TV show that I've recorded that I've stored on my system, it places media art, such as like if you buy a movie on DVD or Blu-ray, how it has the cover art. You can select a movie by cover art on Plex and MB. And if you've never used those before, it's like a streaming service like Netflix that has your album art or your movie art that you select your movie. So this is very similar. And because I use Plex and MB, this keeps that similar feel with listening to my music through this particular type player. So that's why I like this as one of my favorite ways of organizing my albums. So if I click on a particular album, I could just double click the song. I'm not going to, but it will play, and then I can hit that button again and it will stop. Now you can change your preferences. The music would play wide open if I would have hit played anyhow. But if I do, I turn the volume all the way down and basically mutes it. So if I hit play, that way I won't get a copyright violation. Let me double click. It starts playing. It shows you how long your song is playing. Then you go back and hit again and it will stop. Now it's stopped. It's basically your pause button stops it, so when I go to click on another one, it will go again. But what I like about Lollypop is when it gets to the end of this song, it will automatically switch to this song without a huge delay, or it won't start fading out the end of this song and start fading into this song. It will just have a smooth transition from this song to this song. So that's one thing I like about it, is there's no delay between your songs. Now you can like songs, like as this song's playing. If I don't like it as much, I can put 1 or 2, maybe 3. If I like it a lot, I can put 4 or 5. And if I could add it to my favorites by clicking this heart here on the side. And if I created another playlist, I could add it to a playlist, which I'm fixing to show you in just a moment. Or I could modify the information. Now when I click modify information, there's no metadata tag editor built into Lollypop. It allows you to use what you're familiar with. When you click on modify information, it will open up your default metadata tag editor, and I do use EasyTag. I'm familiar with it, so I'm not having to learn something new within this particular program. So it's just a small, simple program, but this allows you to edit your data from your music, and when you're done, you can hit the save buttons, and it will automatically update it into, and I'm not going to say discard because I didn't make any changes, but if I would have made some changes, like change the album art or any of the other things, it would automatically change it here. So that's why I like Lollypop. It's very simple. It doesn't come with a lot of other tools that you have to learn and makes it extra complicated. You just simply click an album, choose the song, and it will go through and play it until you're finished. If you've got a large playlist, it will start at the beginning and it will play your entire playlist. Now let's go and create a playlist. As you can see here, looking through my album art, excuse me, I do have some Christmas albums. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 Christmas albums that's currently on my screen. If it's summertime and I click onto it and I want to listen to a lot of my music, if I just click on random songs and it's mid-June, I might hear a "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" or a Christmas song, and that would sound kind of weird. So it's great to create playlists for those certain occasions. Like if you want to have a party and there's certain genre of music you want to hear at that party, you can create a playlist from the songs that you have on your system. So let's create a new playlist. We'll come and click the gear. We'll override it. To this case, I want to call this Christmas. So I can come in here and type the word Christmas, and I can hit the save button, and it's an empty playlist. So I go back to my albums and I scroll down to where my Christmas albums are, so I click on this one, and if I want to add it to my Christmas playlist, I go to add to Christmas. That's my playlist, and if I had additional playlists, they would show up in this list when I add to Christmas. Now if I go back to my playlist, it's here, Christmas, and if I played all the albums, it would take 59 minutes, which is close to an hour. So I can go back and continue adding my Christmas albums. So here's another album for Christmas. So if I wanted to add it to my Christmas list, I go to add to Christmas. If I want to go back to my playlist, you can see here I got those. I can come back down and I can say add this one to my Christmas. Go to add to Christmas, and let's go back and add the one beside of it. Well, it's not this one, it's these two. I say add to Christmas and come back and add Faith Hill. I can put it to my Christmas. Now I go back to my playlist. I can look up here and I now have 4 hours and 13 minutes of listening to Christmas songs. So when I click on this one, it will immediately play until it finishes this list. It will then go into the next one until it finishes this one, and automatically play until it continues. Now you can go in your preferences. You can click here to randomize it. Now a randomized Christmas list this way would sound better than just all your random albums, because it would take the random music from the different albums that are in this playlist, and so that way you're at least on the same topic of Christmas if you're randomizing it. And then it will automatically start playing a random song. You can come here and you can say remove from a playlist if you've got an album selected. You can manage your smart list, or you could save this playlist using a different name. So that's how you create a playlist, is by just simply naming it and going there and tag which albums you want to be placed in a list. So if you want to have like July 4th party or summer party list, you click playlist, give it a name like summer party mix, and go in there and choose it and say add to it. Then it will create yourself that work. Now, one of the things I do want to show you from my webpage is if you like listening to just individual songs on your system, I recommend Audacious. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. You've got an equalizer. If you go up into your preferences up here, you can open it up and you have your appearances. You can say, now I am using a dark theme, so I turn that on to make sure that every font will show up like white. You can turn that off if you're using a light theme, and I think by default it is turned off. Your items in the sidebar, you can change the order of those. I got the default order. You can organize them by genre or by artist. I'm just on the default. You can say show compilations. I have that turned on. You can show the artist artwork. I have that turned off. I'm choosing the album art rather than some of the artwork from them. Order albums by, I'm organizing them by album artist in alphabetical order. You can organize them by the name, by the year, or by the popularity, so that way you have a different list organization on your system. You can control the album art that makes them larger, or you can make them smaller so you get more on your screen. So you can depend upon what size of your album art that you like the best. That's for the appearance. For the behavior, you can automatically update your music. You have that turned on. So when you, like if you've got this closed and you ripped another music into one of them folders, when you open it up, it will then scan your system, add it to this album Lollypop, and you'll see a little pop-up thing saying a new album was added. So that's automatically updating your music when you turn it on, when you activate it. Not when you turn on your system, but when you activate the program. Continuous playback when closed. You don't want to exit the system. If you like to exit the program and it continues playing music, then you can switch that on. I don't. When I exit the program, I want the song to stop. You can say restore state on startup. I turn that off. If I'm in the middle of a song and I close it, when I start it up, I don't want it to start in the middle of that song, so I leave that switched off. Import playlists, I don't import them from any other system, so I have that turned off. You can save the changes to file. That's why I showed you if you need to install that, you can refer to my website, copy and paste the command, and it will allow you to save changes. Like if you make something within the program here, it can edit your actual metadata, but there's not a metadata editor. Now, smooth transitions, I have that on, and allow network access, I turn that off since I'm not using the web features, so I don't go to the web tab here. Music, here's where when you first open up the program and it's blank, it will automatically have one place that you select a folder, because that's the purpose of the program, is to access where your music's at. By default, I put my music in the music folder on my primary hard drive where my Linux system is. Because my primary hard drive is a small SSD, I don't put a lot of music into that music folder. I just have 2 albums that I use for demonstration purposes. And then when I started to do my website, I thought it looked funny just by having 2, that's not the 2, but I thought it looked funny just by having 2 albums, when the purpose of this was to show you how to organize all of your albums. So I went to an external or an internal hard drive other than my music folder that's on my internal one. As you can see here, I do have a 2 terabyte volume hard drive into my system. I have another 1.5 and then I think a 1 terabyte here, but on my 2 terabyte I have a music folder on it as well, and that's the music folder on the 2 terabyte. So that's where I did have a lot of music. As you can see here, it's 1,705 tracks, 122 albums with 67 different artist. So that's why I didn't create the video. Choose this folder because it will take a while to populate the folders, the albums and the album art and the songs. So I went ahead and had this created. If you don't understand this, you can look at the images. When I did this for create my website, I showed how to add it. Now, if you wanted to remove one, if you want to make an additional one, you can click here, go down and drop, locate another music folder, and I don't have any more music folders on any of these other hard drives. But if I did, I could select it and it would show up here, and then it would take a while to populate the album art and organize the songs within that. But if you ever wanted to remove it, you could just hit this button here to take it off. You can remove this one, but since you have a default one on your system, you're not going to be able to remove this one. If you wanted to change it or delete the songs out of that folder, you could. You could say reset your database, and it would make it like new, where it takes everything out and starts over again. So that's what the reset your database will do. Now, if you go back into your preferences, as you can see here, I've already showed you that. I showed you this one. I showed you this one. You do have an equalizer that you can adjust. And on that, let me go back to my, I don't know why I'm on Audacious. Oh, I was showing you that while ago. I can go back to Lollipop. And if you look, scroll down to where it shows here, you can go to your center icon, which is up here. Go to the center one, and it changes it to a mode where you got an equalizer. And that's why I selected the song, is so you can go down, and I'm using the custom one. I've adjusted my equalizer while I'm applying more bass and putting more treble here, just for randomizing it, showing you. You can go to default, which is in the center. You can go, and there's the custom that I created. You can go to classical. There's different types of preset settings for an equalizer. Like if you're listening to party music, that's a good setting for your equalizer. Soft rock, so you can pick the genre, techno. So I go back to my custom, and you can use your scroll wheel, and you can add more to this particular list. But it does have an equalizer that you can access through here, through your other tab. Now these buttons here, that's to update your music. So if you're leaving this open and you put a new music into your folder, another album, if for some reason it's not automatically updating, you can click here, go to here, or click here, update your list, and it will scan for new music added to your folders. Here just goes to your equalizer, and this goes into full screen mode, which means your bar here will disappear and it will go in full screen mode. Here's your preferences. That enables or disables your sidebar. So if you don't want to see the sidebar, you just uncheck it and it goes away. That re-enables your sidebar. Those are keyboard shortcuts, so you can click on those and you can change those. These are like you can go to, like if you want to go to settings, you hold down the control key while at the same time pressing the comma, and that will open up your settings. So you can print this out. These are the default keyboard shortcuts, or you can actually go in there and edit those yourselves. And then you got the about that tells you about Lollypop. You can go to their website. You can go to their, if you want to make a donation to the people that created this, you can click on these 3 links. So that's a quick rundown of Lollypop. If you have any questions or concerns, I don't always, from YouTube, when people leave a comment, it doesn't always give me an email notification. So if you ever have a question and you want me to respond to it quicker, the quickest way to email is to click the email or get my email address from this link here. And I do check my email quite often throughout the day, and like I said, not always does people that leave comments, the comments give me an email notification. Like this morning, I noticed that I had a question on one of my YouTube videos that someone asked 3 days ago, and I never got an email notification. So if you do have a question or concern, just email me through this link here, and I will respond a lot faster than I will that if you leave a comment. Hopefully, if you like Lollypop, then you'll give it a try, and you might want to give it a try just to see if you like it. And if not, eventually I might put something on my music list players over the next several weeks. I'm reviewing different type of music players for Linux. Currently the one that I'm working on the last couple days is Clementine. It's not really organized. It's more you organize your albums by the names on the side, which it does have a little album art here, and you can organize your music that way, which is a great player as well. But because I do use the Plex and MB, is one reason why I like Lollypop. It keeps me in that mindset that I click on album art to choose an album, just like I click on art to choose a music or not music, movie or a TV show. Hopefully this video has been beneficial to you, and have a great day.